Breaking tonight, Hillary Clinton edges out Bernie Sanders for a win in Nevada. But is it time to count Bernie out yet? Let's ask the panel. Well, that's back with me, Tony Sayegh, Boris Epstein, and Marianne Marsh. All right, guys, a month ago, Hillary Clinton, I'll start with you, Marianne, is 25 points ahead. What happened in a month?
Well, she won. I mean, after losing
by 4 or 5 points?
11 days ago, she lost by 22 points in New Hampshire. To come back after 11 days and put up a 5-point win in Nevada over Bernie Sanders, you have to claim that as a big win.
Well, what happened in the last month, all right? What happened?
I think
she's with Donald Trump. We know the dust up.
She lost a lot of trust. That's what happened. You had a lot of news come out.
She lost trust a year ago.
She has not been a good candidate, and her campaign hadn't been performing. And in the last 11 days, she's performed better, as has her campaign.
There's more and more bad news that comes out every week, almost every day for Hillary, and she hasn't been good at fighting it. But this will give her strength. And if you look again in South Carolina, she's going to win big. You look at Super Tuesday, she's winning in every state but Vermont on Super Tuesday.
Well, number one, keep this in mind, and it's very important. The Democrats have a proportional contest throughout. So tonight, this big win still gave them both the same amount, virtually, of delegates out of Nevada if you take out the rigged superdelegate system, right? So how big a win is it? It's a big win in the respect that, should she have lost, it would have been completely catastrophic for her. Now, that being said, I will say Bernie Sanders is still winning the argument. He has dragged Hillary Clinton to this progressive socialist left, where that's what she has to do in order to even eke out these small little victories, Judge. That's not good positioning for her in the general election.
When you think about it, Marianne, you've got a socialist. He can say, I'm a Democrat socialist. You got a socialist who's beating out one of the icons who has had 30 years to figure out how to win, who's got the experience of a husband who went through it, and they're still eking it out.
Well, this is a different year when you have people who are trying to decide between Bernie Sanders and Donald Trump. They feel that both those candidates have different approaches but agree on the problems. And that's what's really driving both primaries right now.
You're shaking your head.
I completely disagree.
Oh, it's true.
Hillary Clinton, and you said this earlier, has always been a terrible candidate. She's only one that won.
I never said she was always a terrible candidate.
She's one that won an election in 2000 versus Rick Laszlo, who was a friend, but it was not a good campaign. She is not a good candidate. And how long
I think any candidate who walks down the street with a rope between them and the press is not a good candidate.
She doesn't know how to win nationally. She doesn't.
Two biggest issues for Hillary. Her problems are actually fundamental flaws. They're not policy problems. People don't like her, trust her, or relate to her, number one. Number two, she is a candidate who has not really gained a message that's been compelling. Organizationally, that's where she beats out Bernie Sanders. She's had 22 staffers on the ground since August in Nevada. She has that network across the entire country. They're not voting for the hope and change of Hillary Clinton.
Bernie Sanders isn't winning. Hillary Clinton is losing. That's the key. If the Democrats had someone else in the polls,
that's absolutely not true. When you look, here are the facts. When you look at the polls, she wins with Democrats. Bernie Sanders wins with some Democrats, but largely independent voters. Those are the facts. And that's why as this process goes on, and it is proportional, we get into the bigger states. She's going to win those bigger states. Bernie Sanders is going to do well in New England. He's already kind of dismissed South Carolina. I'm not sure if that's about expectations or not, but they're going to fight this out.
But Marianne, in this regard, hold on one second.
Go ahead.
In this regard, let's look at this, though. Growth targets in the Democratic Party. You may be right in some measure, but she lost Hispanics in Nevada. That was
that's
big.
not true.
Well, she came. It was much closer than it should have been. She's losing unmarried women.
Did she lose the Hispanics?
It was narrower than she should have had.
Did not
She's losing unmarried women. She's losing basically the lower income voters.
Hang on, I have a 53 Sanders Hispanic, Clinton Latino 45.
No, that was wrong. It was on Twitter. It was corrected later. Those were the entrance polls. The actual votes, she won Hispanics.
But that was much narrower regardless. And the point is she's losing the growth demographic of the Democratic Party. All right, but Boris, hold on a second. But this is but we're talking about something much more profound, which is the fact that she can't even get young, millennial, progressives, people who have high education levels, people who are struggling as far as incomes, who are the growth targets of the Democratic Party, to vote for them. Right? Yeah, she's winning it on rich, wealthier, and seniors and African Americans.
She got Harry Reid to go in and get the
African Americans delivered for her. Absolutely.
Okay, we're all talking at the same time. All right. Bernie Sanders is bringing in people who never voted before. The energy and the wind, I agree, is behind him and not behind Hillary.
I thought it was behind him going into Nevada. He lost.
By
Now
500 votes.
he's not going to win in South Carolina. He's not going to win a lot of states on Super Tuesday. Tough to say you have a lot of energy and wind behind you and initiative when you're losing state after state after state.
One point, Judge. The turnout has gone up on the Republican side substantially.
Correct.
It's down 30% on the Democratic side.
Okay,
so that's
right there.
But that's something to look at going forward, and certainly in a general election.
And proportional allocation of delegates for Democrats. He doesn't have to beat her big time. He has to keep doing what he's doing in Nevada, which is mirroring her
But
performance.
the super delegates are always going to be on her side. That's
Let's
why
not
she's
get in the
likely
weeds.
nominated.
Who's Donald Trump going to pick as a VP candidate?
I'm saying Kasich would be a great VP candidate for him.
What do you think?
This is a great presumption, but I'll say Marco Rubio. Why not?
It's got to be someone in the political class from a swing state. What do you think, Marianne?
It won't be any of those things because he hasn't done anything in the playbook so far. And I think as a Democrat, he's the one candidate I don't want to run against because there's no playbook for Donald Trump. Everybody else, they're conventional
But he's
candidates.
Smart.
He is smart.
He has evolved. I have watched him.
He's grown.
He has absolutely grown. He is a smart man. Anyway, Tony Sayegh, Boris Epstein, and Marianne Walsh, thanks so much for being with us tonight.
Thanks, Judge.
And we'll be right back.